The following is a presentation of ABC 27 Sports.
From ABC 27 and Advanced Hoops, it's High School Sports Live presented by Arlington Orthopedic. Tonight, boys basketball, a key early season showdown in the Mid-Penn Conference Keystone Division. Undefeated Cedar Cliff hosting undefeated Hershey. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cedar Cliff High School. John Reppitz from ABC 27 Sports. I'm joined by Todd McCall, in Advanced Hoops, Charlie Fortney. And Charlie, as far as early season games are concerned, it really doesn't get much better than this. We begin the play tonight. 6 boys teams in Mid-Penn are still undefeated. 2 of them on the floor here for us tonight.
Well, and it's in the very tough Keystone Conference, and it's not by mistake, John. This is one of our early season games that's live on TV because this game has been circled ever since last year when these 2 teams split last year in a very tough conference play. This is going to be a great game tonight.
As far as Cedar Cliff is concerned, we'll call Todd in now. Todd, the Colts are undefeated. They're 4-0. They're the defending division champs. But even though they're 4-0, you can say they really haven't been all that impressive so far this year.
Well, you got to remember, they're number 1. Everybody's shooting for them. They're the measuring stick in the league in the Keystone Division. But a couple things they've slipped up with. Carlisle presented a tough zone. If they're outside bombing away and the Colts are not making them, then Hershey will be right in the ball game. The other thing, too, I think, is as this conference continues to get better, coaches are I tell you what, this is a great Keystone Division with coaches. Any given night you can lose. No slip-ups tonight for Cedar Cliff when they go 5-0. If they don't hit the outside shot and move the ball around, they could lose here at home.
Okay, Todd, thanks. And on the other side, we had Hershey last week in our season-opening telecast. Trojans 4-0. They looked pretty good last week, but they're still getting all their pieces together, aren't they?
Well, they're going to try Jimmy Breyer tonight. It'll be his first real action against some really good competition. If Jimmy can provide a little bit of size to help offset that long, lanky athleticism of Cedar Cliff, it could help Hershey tonight. But with Brantley and Banis inside, it is an advantage, that strength. It's going to be a battle of styles tonight, basically.
Okay, so we're ready for action. The teams are ready. Stay tuned, as we said, as an early season game goes. It's not going to get any better than this. Hershey and Cedar Cliff coming your way. Opening tip-off coming up right after this.
Having been to Arlington Orthopedics several times over the past roughly 15 years, I have found them to be very caring.
For 15 or 20 years, I've dealt with sciatic nerve pain down both legs. Kind of figured I was going to have that all my life.
Because of crippling arthritis, I no longer could hold on to things.
We went through this disc fusion surgery. It's just changed my whole life.
The pain is virtually gone, and he fully expects me to return to 100%.
For generations, Caterpillar has delivered innovative products that help customers build strong, profitable businesses. And for more than 60 years, Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company has been Pennsylvania's source for first-class Caterpillar equipment, service, parts, and rentals. With 26 locations across Pennsylvania, we've grown right alongside our customers, delivering on our commitment to provide a superior experience and maximum value. Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company, helping Pennsylvania prosper since 1948.
Select Physical Therapy College Spotlight.
Etherton going down against the big guy off the glass and in. Nice. Etherton, and it's good.
Last week, the Patriot News featured Hershey alum Scott Etherton as one of the top leaders in NCAA Division I for completing 76% of his shots. For women's hoops, freshman standout and former Hershey Lady Trojan Kendall Benavie is making her presence known at Westchester University. Scott and Kendall are tonight's Select Physical Therapy College Spotlight.
Cedar Cliff Junior Leah Marshall with our national anthem tonight. It's Cedar Cliff High School in Camp Hill as we're getting ready for this huge battle in Mid-Penn Keystone Division. Undefeated Hershey undefeated Cedar Cliff.
I'll tell you what, John, I have goosebumps just sitting here. The national anthem was followed by USA, USA by the Golden Corral here in the end zone. I don't know about you. I got goosebumps. I got Jeff Morrow next to me. I look in his arms right now. He has goosebumps, so this is going to be a good one.
I'll let you in on a secret. He gave me his pregame prediction, but I won't tell you what he said.
Yeah, don't tell me what Jeff said. I don't want to know.
We'll be bringing Jeff in later in the game. We'll be spending some time with him between the third and fourth quarter in the second half to get his thoughts as to what's been going on tonight. But I tell you, the Hershey Trojans, I mean, these guys are getting used to the bright lights. I mean, this is the second game in 2 weeks for these guys. Okay, as we're getting ready to hear the starting lineups being introduced, Charlie, let's take a look at the keys to the game. What's going to have to happen?
Penn National keys to the game for Hershey are Banis and Brantley need to establish the power game inside. That is their advantage, that physical brawn, and they need to take advantage of that. And then they need to have a great game from the guards. Jimmy Breyer's coming back, hopefully not rusty, but maybe, and Griffin Spanago has to share the point guard spot. He's a typical two guard, so let's see how that plays out. And then for Cedar Cliff, they must speed this game up, get things in transition, get their athletes involved early. And then they must make open shots because Paul Blackburn is amazing at creating zone defenses that don't give you much room on the perimeter. And having the luxury of Banis at 6'8.5" in the middle could make it tough on Cedar Cliff if they don't knock down some shots.
Okay, let me just kind of quickly give you the starting lineups tonight. First for the Hershey Trojans. In the backcourt, it's going to be John Miller, a 5'11 junior. Griffin Spanagle, 6'1 senior. Dan Jackson, a 6-foot senior. Up front, the big guy, Matt Banis, inside at 6'8", joined by Harold Brantley at 6'3". For Cedar Cliff, Will Hopkins, Christo Majoke, Logan Stump, Noel LaRue, and Colton Lewis. And we are ready for action at Cedar Cliff. Undefeated Hershey, undefeated Cedar Cliff, and we are underway.
Well, and we talked about Harold Brantley early on, and there's Harold Brantley already attacking the rim. Fell a little short. You're going to see a lot of long arms.
Lead pass underneath, no good. And we're going to have the first foul of the game. 15 seconds in, it's going to be on Christo Majoke.
Well, and Harold Brantley's going to win that tie-up every time. But you see the players excited. There's 2 early misses out of jitters because it's such an anticipated matchup here. Cedar Cliff has their own zone going on here. That's an extended, okay, now they're in a man-to-man. A 3-2 look right to a man-to-man.
Looking inside to Brantley.
Jim Rao is famous for changing things up. I mean, we may be calling this something different in about a quarter. Matchup on the ball. Looks like there's a constant Will Hopkins following Harold Brantley everywhere he goes. That's an interesting matchup, putting Will Hopkins on Harold Brantley. Matt Banis pulling the trigger from 3.
No good, pulled down by Colton Lewis. Still scoreless.
One thing about Matt Banis is Paul Blackburn has done a tremendous job of giving Matt wings and giving him that freedom and pumping confidence into this young man to just play the game, whether it be a 3, whether it be a post-up. A lot of coaches tell their post to just stuff it inside, and they don't give them that freedom. And there's Matt Banis doing something we saw him doing a lot against Palmyra, and that's blocking shots.
Bolts with possession. This is Logan Stump.
Yeah, there's the mismatch, and Cedar Cliff's going to it. Noel Rue over.
Left-handed turnaround.
Okay, Danny Jackson guarding Noel Rue.
Jackson saves it. Lewis. Colts come up with the loose ball, and there's a reaching foul.
Yeah. You know, speaking of referees here, it seemed that was a very good call. We have Chris Delosier on a reach call there. We have Barry Sherman tonight, and then we have who's our other guy? Joe Spangler. This is a good crew, folks. This is the kind of crew you're going to see down at the Giants Center come district playoffs. So Donnie Epley and the Officials Association didn't sell this game short at all.
He said one of the keys of the game was speed it up. We're approaching the 2-minute mark coming in, 2 minutes played, and we are still scoreless.
Well, it's like, yeah, they're calling it tight early. They're going to keep control of this game. Well, it's like 2 boxers, John. You know, they're testing each other right now to see what they can get away with. And And neither one's afraid to strike too hard, but you're going to see them go at it here in a second.
Exactly 6 minutes left opening quarter, still scoreless. Cedar Cliff in white with possession. Inside, Stump, three-pointer from the corner. Strong off the iron. Griffin Spinagle with a rebound.
Yeah, Logan Stump for Cedar Cliff going to Gardner Webb as a big wing shooting guard. Stump has not gotten it going early for Cedar Cliff in the beginning of the year, but he does other things. A lot of these guys on Cedar Cliff, they do other things.
Majoke strong to the hoop, no good, gets his own miss. Hopkins dishes back out. Majoke puts it on the floor. Cross-court pass. Noel LaRue, no good. Out of bounds, Hershey ball.
Well, and
third member of our broadcast team, Todd McCall. And Todd, what do you have for us?
John, Charlie, I was really anxious to see what Hershey would do to start off this game, whether they'd play 2-3 or go man-to-man. One of the things they started doing was going man-to-man, and then size inside, they're switching on screens. Look for Cedar Cliff maybe do a little rollback, but right now it's presented a problem inside. Back to you guys.
Griffin Spinagle for Hershey, first basket of the game.
Yeah, and that breaks an 0 for 9 combined for both teams. So I think that may break the ice for both teams to start doing something here.
Jumper, Colton Lewis.
Well, and Colton Lewis is a guy that we'll be talking about more and more as the season goes on. He's a newly acquired big guy for Cedar Cliff that can knock down the outside jumper as well.
Matt Banis beyond the three-point line. He drills it.
Well, and we've said this before, not too many guys, post players, look as comfortable as Matt Banis out there doing it, and that form is very good, textbook.
Joke drives to the hoop, gets it up, and off the rim, no good, but gets the foul.
Well, and this is a guy, he's sprouted. Christo Majoke has sprouted to 6'5" here. It seems like Logan Stump sprouted to 6'5". I mean, these guys have been taking some growing pills in the offseason. But this guy, Coach Rao is extremely proud of Christo. That shot has improved. When a shot improves like that, it means the kid's in the gym working on his game, and he's brought more than just assists, rebounds, and steals to the team. He's bringing some offense punch as well this year.
Majoke makes 1 of 2. So we have 4:10 to go, opening quarter. Hershey on top by a score of 6-3.
Cedar Cliff trapping, looking to shake some things up. That's a smart idea. It's kind of hard to throw over those traps if you're Hershey. Spinagle splitting it like you're taught to at basketball camp. Just get through the split that. And I'll tell you what.
You're going to call foul on Colts.
Well, and here's the teaching point to that, John. I don't know if we have a replay, but whenever you do those traps, you gotta lock your legs. You can't let them slice through that. Like right there, you can't leave a gap. Like right there, there's a gap. That's not what Coach Rao's teaching. Coach Rao's taught me as a player, so I know what he teaches. And he teaches that trap to be totally locked tight so that you can't get out of it. And that's where the foul comes.
Yeah, Spinagle inside had it rejected, but the Trojans retained possession.
Neither coach subbing yet.
Inbound stolen away. Here comes the Colts. Logan stomped with authority. And that brings the crowd to life.
Well, that got the Golden Corral going here. Cedar Cliff needed a little something because Hershey's early three-pointers has quieted things.
3.5 to go, opening quarter. Hershey on top by 1. Pass inside to Brantley. He's going to be fouled. There's the steal. Up ahead to Logan Stump. Takes it in with the right hand.
That's a nice outlet pass as well. Hershey went to Brantley. Got the foul. It's up to, there's not 5 total fouls is pretty even at this point, 3-2.
Spinagle outside, no good. Banis with a tough rebound over Noel LaRue. Stolen by Majoke. They're going to call traveling on that.
Well, and that was a good call. That just shows, look at the long arms of Christo Majoke. Look how long, it's so hard to throw over these guys. I mean, I watched a cartoon when I was a kid called Inspector Gadget, and it just seemed like that arm for Cristo just extended another 5 feet out of nowhere. What a luxury, geez.
Just under 3 minutes to go. Hershey on top, 6-5. Trojans with the ball.
Again, no subs, 250. No subs. Actually, you know what? There is a sub. Zach Gallick's in the game. I missed that one for Noah Rue. Zach Gallick, a sophomore, getting some very good minutes for Cedar Cliff this year. This kid has a lot of potential. 6'4", got a lot of athleticism.
So this is a 6'5", sophomore, one of the few players on the Cedar Cliff team not a senior.
Well, and he's wearing Michael Jordan's number, so maybe he has some plans to play in the big leagues.
And Danny Jackson throws that one away. Two and a half to go.
6-5. Who would have thought a low-scoring game like this early on with this pipe here?
Hopkins, Logan Stump, pulls up, jumper, good. Cedar Cliff takes its first lead of the night.
And I think Logan Stump's showing right there why he's a Division I player. When you can put that ball on the floor, up fake and straight up, straight down on the jump shot, that's a next level move right there. There's those long arms of Cedar Cliff paying off.
Another bad pass by the Trojans. And we're going to get a timeout. Okay, we invite you to join us on Facebook, folks. Just like us, just like the High School Sports Live Facebook page for updates on game broadcasts, video clips, and more. It's High School Sports Live on Facebook. So find us, like us, and a lot of information.
Yeah, you can find that at pasportslivetv.com. You can watch any of the broadcasts from last year or even any of the matches from this year, whether it be the wrestling or the Palmyra boys and girls broadcast as well. I think Coach Blackburn made a smart move there, calling timeout. He doesn't want to let this crowd get in the game. He wants to constantly keep this one of those grinded out, hard-nosed, hard-fought games, because that's what his blue-collar team's about. Now you got number 22 for Cedar Cliff in the game, Martinez, a guy that Jim Rowe's very proud of for coming back strong this season to provide a little more depth at that point guard spot.
Joe drives into the lane, pulls up, strong off the back iron. Griffin Spinagle, Hershey with a rebound.
Well, and Hershey's going to be happy walking that ball up the court. They want to get into this. There's another, wow.
Majoke with another steal, takes it in, lays it off the glass, no good. Martinez follow, reverse layup, good. Yeah.
This is 2 times in a row now that Hershey's had a hard time with Cristo Majoke's long arms. Let's do some ball fakes here.
Brantley kicks it back out, baseline jumper, no good. Lewis, tough rebound for the Colts. Majoke looking to run, looks to force it. Martinez drives baseline. Bumped by Brantley, fouls Majoke.
And that's on Harold Brantley. Harold Brantley, number 44,
his
has
second.
2, and Paul Blackburn does not like. Yeah, he's gonna get Brantley. He doesn't like a player going into that second quarter with 3 fouls. He may trust him in the second here, depending on the score, but that's a smart move by Coach Blackburn.
Joe Baker and Addison Murray check
Boy,
in.
and you're looking at 2 tough-nosed kids, Joe Baker, Addison Murray defensively. Hershey just got better defensively on this sub.
The pressure, and Banis picks it off.
This is a good.
Looking inside, pass to Banis, tipped away.
Yeah, you have Jimmy Briers suit. Okay, the reason why there's a stoppage, ladies and gentlemen, there is a fire alarm that has been pulled and has gone off in the gymnasium, and they are currently checking to see if this is a legitimate fire alarm. So we will keep you posted here on what's actually going on. It looks like there's been either a fire alarm pulled, or we're going to find out here in a second, John.
you just never know what's going to happen.
Well,
Join us for live high school basketball action.
It's an exciting game. It'll provoke pretty much any kind of reaction here. Looks like.
Okay, Todd, what do you have for us?
As you see right now, Cedar Cliff administration has said that the gym must be cleared as an emergency. So at this particular time, the crowd is clearing out. So we're going to have to move outside the gym to see what's going on. Back to you guys.
Well, you can prepare for any type of situation in a high school basketball game, but this is one where you really don't know what's going to happen until you're faced with it. Well, they are actually evacuating the gym right now.
And I'll tell you what, this is a procedure that has to happen. And we've caught this live on camera, by the way.
Yes.
This is a procedure that has to happen. They got to go through some normal procedures, but we will be back for the broadcast. And we're going to probably take a commercial break here in a little bit to regroup. But when we come back, you're going to find out exactly what's going on, and we're going to have basketball for you.
Right, and we have to evacuate ourselves, so we'll be back as soon as possible.
AAU spring basketball with advanced hoops. 21 teams last year, featuring the top boys basketball players from all over the region. Advanced Hoops AAU features 10 to 11 player rosters, guarantees playing time, all man-to-man style play, and every player gets professional skill training along with top quality AAU tournaments. Advanced Hoops has helped over 25 high school athletes get scholarships over the last 2 years. Amazing results. I call this AAU with the follow-through.
The Advanced Hoops program is a one-stop shop training program. The most talented players in the area are playing AAU Showcase in front of college coaches with Charlie Fortney. Players of all ages can train with Advanced Hoops and get a rock-solid foundation. The coaches at Advanced Hoops have a great rapport with all the kids. Advanced Hoops is unique because we offer professional training in dribbling and point guard skills with Gerald Jarman, the point guard who led the greatest upset in NCAA history when the Richmond Spiders beat the Syracuse Orangemen. Gerald is a master at building confidence in point guards and ball handling skills to all age groups. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction is amazing. He has helped so many high-level players get a great shooting foundation for the college level. He understands how to build a player's shot right from where they are. The spring 5-on-5 games registration is going on right now, and this in-house training has revolutionized the ability of players all over the region. Advanced Hoops is registering boys and girls from 5th to 12th grade for in-house 5-on-5, shooting, and advanced dribbling.
Advanced Hoops is celebrating 10 years of training youth in the Harrisburg region. In 2010, we trained over 1,000 youth from kindergarten to 12th grade. Our spring program is going to be amazing. So as I pass the ball,
you make the call to get any questions answered regarding our spring games, shooting, dribbling, or AAU opportunities.
We specialize in making training look easy.
And Charlie is not the only one that can shoot a basketball around here.
Back here at Cedar Cliff High School, there was an alarm sounded. They evacuated the gym. Everybody was brought back into the gym. Looked like we're going to get ready to get started again. But now the alarm has gone off and they're going to check it out one more time. Everybody's been told to just kind of hold their spots. So we'll see what's going to happen this time.
I'll tell you what, this was a much anticipated game, and it still is. This reminds me, John, of when I was in 8th grade at Steele High, and a different circumstance happened where Sean Muto from Mechanicsburg broke the backboard.
I was there
at
that
Steele
night.
High, and basically the crowd had to sit there literally for an hour and a half until the bankboards were changed, and then the bankboards at 11:15 at night were put on, and then 2 minutes later, Sean Muto dunked, and another bankboard broke, and the game ended with 5 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And amazing, amazing. So right now, you got Coach Rao at half court with the referees. They're talking about maybe what to do, how to get started. I think coaches are talking about whether or not they need to possibly re-warm up again because the players have now 4 or 5 minutes, John, have not touched the basketball, and I know that that's probably part of the discussion. What do you think?
Yeah, for some reason they're actually looking at the floor. I'm beginning to wonder if they think maybe they need to wipe the floor up since the entire crowd actually walked over it. So
yeah, it looks like Todd's not losing any sleep. He's over there with the Golden Corral. That Golden Corral is yeah, let's see what Todd's up to. All right, well, it looks like Todd, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here with our sideline situation, but it looks like we're possibly getting closer to starting the game here. This Cedar Cliff crowd, the Cedar Cliff student section has not lost any of their enthusiasm at all, and it looks like the players are going to be, it looks like the players are going to be asked to warm up a little bit just so they can get loose. But John, back to my story about the backboards break. This was against Reading. Actually, yeah. Actually, it was Reading.
It was Reading.
Yeah, it was Reading. I thought it was
Mechanics.
Right. It was actually Brian D'Amico who went to Penn State, who I often get mixed up for Sean Muto, both 6'10". And what was amazing is the game, the dedication of the fans. That game was so amazing, kind of like these guys we see right here from in the Golden Corral there, that all 2,000 fans showed back up at Steel High on that Saturday after they fixed the bankboards to watch the last 5 minutes and 11 seconds of the Reading Steel High game.
Well, the roller ticket was a hot commodity back then.
All right, looks like we got Todd. Looks like we got Todd over there with these guys, and hopefully Todd can find out how antsy this Golden Corral is.
Guys, we're here with Cedar Cliff Colts fans, and guys, you had to leave, but you did what you needed to do. You came back. Now I know you're ready for some basketball.
We're absolutely ready for some basketball. We can't wait to play, and we're going to show Hershey what Cedar Cliff basketball is all about.
I tell you what, they're the true definition of the sixth man. These guys are fired up and ready for some basketball. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Todd. We're getting ready to restart here just to reset things. 49 seconds left in the opening quarter. Cedar Cliff on top by 3. It's 9-6. And after a short delay because of an alarm that was pulled, we are now back underway.
Now, Cedar Cliff has 2 point guards in the game here. They got Martinez and Will Hopkins. Interesting, Nola Rue and Christo Majoka are out right now as Hershey's in that stingy zone defense that Paul Blackburn has put together. Really hard to score against us. They collapse down on the bigs and they limit the perimeter shots. A very crafty zone. Trying to post up Brantley. You got a double team. See, Brantley's very good at finding that open man on the perimeter. That's what makes him dangerous.
Spinagle baseline drive, kicks it back out. Jumper, no good. Brantley, rebound. Up strong, no good. Colton Lewis with the rebound. 10 seconds left. Colts make it the last shot. To the hoop, no good. Underneath, and a foul.
This was watch this play here with Zach Gallick. Very smart to go right up with it to get on the rebound. He goes right back up for the shot, which gives him 2 shots.
Right there.
Very smart. He didn't come down with it. He went right up.
And that's the 3rd foul on Brantley.
Lord, Lord, Lord.
4.3 to go in the opening quarter.
Well, and I know Coach Blackburn was probably figuring just one offensive possession for Harold Brantley, and that wasn't going to happen, but too much time was left there. Looks like Garrett Hines, number 41, is going to give Brantley a break, and we probably will not see Harold Brantley the rest of this quarter. And this is going to be a test of Hershey's mettle here because they've been relying on the big guy, averaging 16.4 points a game.
they've been relying on him offensively as well.
Well, in our opener, Banis went to the bench with some early foul trouble, and they were able to overcome that. Let's see if they can do it with the other big guy on the bench tonight. Final 4 seconds, opening quarter. Trojans might get one last shot from midcourt, and they don't. So first quarter in the books. Hershey jumped out to the early lead, but the Colts have come back to take an 11-6 lead. We'll be back with more right after this.
Select Physical Therapy College Spotlight. Brian Ortenzio is a former Cedar Cliff High School wrestling standout, PIAA state place winner, and the Reno Tournament of Champions second place finisher who has successfully taken his grappling skills to the height of NCAA Division I competition. Brian has become a rock-solid member of the University of Pennsylvania squad at the 133-pound weight class. Having just turned in a perfect performance at the Northeast Duels, he is looking to lift his senior year right off the mat. Brian is tonight's College Spotlight. Dr. Timothy Ackerman demystifies those 3 infamous letters, ACL. Dr. Ackerman's fellowship with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2005 is highlighted on Up Close and Personal with Charlie Fortney. Dr. Ackerman explains why female athletes are more susceptible to this injury and see how Steel High star Malia Tate DeFreitas recovered from this career-threatening injury with Dr. Ackerman's guidance. For the full interview, PASportsLiveTV.com.
You've seen a lot of my sons, Todd and Ryan, over the years on TV. In fact, we've all grown a lot during this time.
We're all still here and stronger than ever. Now you can see me when you come into Hoffman Ford.
And I won't be far behind.
For 59 years, there's always been a Ford and a Hoffman in this showroom, delivering you the courtesy and respect that you deserve since 1953.
Come see what keeps our customers coming back generation after generation. Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Second quarter underway. Hershey trails Cedar Cliff 11-6.
Yeah, Cedar Cliff back in. Nice rebound by Banis. Back. Noel Roux, Christo Majoke back in. Cedar Cliff out of foul trouble. Hershey has a little adversity here with Brantley's going to be out for the rest of the half. We got Garrett Hines, a tough-nosed kid, in here to a senior, I believe, to fill in for Harold Brantley. Banis is going to have to go to work, and they went right to him.
He did right there, and the basket and the foul. So, Charlie, no sooner you say Banis is going to have to come up with it, then they go right into him and makes the move on the baseline.
Well, and this
puts it up quickly.
Well, and there, Will Hopkins has a bad angle. Right idea, bad angle. Good call by the officials.
That ended a 9-0 run by the Colts. Hershey had a 6-2 lead, but then Cedar Cliff came back with the last 9 points of that opening quarter. Banis completes the 3-point play from the line. So Cedar Cliff now on top 11-9. 7:10 to go, second quarter. Majoke drives, pass off the hands of Lewis. Trojans come up with it. Back down, Banis. Turns around, no good. Rebound cleared out by Logan Stump.
I think Hershey's making a good move here by running the offense through Matt Banis right now, because you could probably even the foul score after a few more entries in there. And Banis, he's a big-time player. He's going to make some of those plays. It's going to put the pressure on the interior on Cedar Cliff. Nice ball movement by Cedar Cliff. They're going to have to find a way to knock down a few shots here. You don't want to be in a close one with Hershey at the end. You got a lot of experience. They make really good decisions, and they can knock down some shots.
Back out, Hopkins, top of the key, no good. Trojans rebound, back the other way.
Now Cedar Cliff's going to live with Danny Jackson shooting a 16-footer and play the percentages. They don't want to give Banis any open opportunities.
Majoke pulls up from three-point land, no good.
And another
Banis
another rebound for Banis. You know, Spinagle, we saw Miss John Repitz when he was a sophomore have 22 and a huge win over Redland. Back there
2 years ago.
2 years ago at Hershey. He can get it going, but I've noticed since he's been taking on more point guard responsibilities, he has been less involved in the offense. And boy, will they be glad when Jimmy Breyer gets healthy and comes back to help him out.
Trapped on the side, Colts come up with the ball. Ahead to Stump, he takes it in, misses it, follows right there, Colton Lewis with the rebound.
Well, that was a no call, but good follow-up by Lewis. Stump went hard.
13-9, under 5 minutes, second quarter. Pass goes off the hands of Banis, out of bounds. Colts are going to get possession. Let's go to Todd McCall. Todd?
Charlie, you had alluded to Hershey working inside to Banis. One of the things that they settled for early on in that first quarter was outside shots. The guards are having a tough time struggling, getting a shot off on that 3-2 with those long arms. Paul Backburn took a great timeout, told his group, let's get the ball inside, and let's see if that changes the course of the game. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Todd. Cedar Cliff on top, 13-9 over the Hershey Trojans. Replay of Stump taking it hard to the hoop with the miss, but Colton Lewis with the follow-up.
Looks like Stump started a little too far out on that one, or got a little too wide right. But nonetheless, the aggressiveness turned into 2 points for Colton Lewis.
Two-point shooting so far. Hershey just 1 of 9. Cedar Cliff 5 of 16.
Tell you what, we got a tall lineup. You got 6'7" Lewis, 6'5" Aru, 6'5" Gallick, 6'5" Stump, and 5'11" Wilk Hopkins here. I mean, geez, there's not too many high school basketball teams that sport a roster like that. Hershey's got Addison Murray, Joe Baker, Griff Spinagle, Matt Banis, and number 34 here, Tim Jett, in to provide a little bit of brawn here against Zach Gallick. Defense by Murray is really good on Rue.
Colton Lewis called for the travel.
I think, let's see.
That's
a good call.
Shuffle the feet before he put the ball down.
That's a hop, skip, and a jump for sure.
Hershey trails by 4, looking to cut into the Cedar Cliff advantage as we approach the halfway point of tonight's second quarter.
John, do you get the feeling that Hershey at this point is just happy keeping this a game, you know, and not well, maybe Griffin Spinagle was not happy knocking down 3 there, but Hershey, I think, is happy just keeping this a game till they can get Brantley back in the game in the beginning of the second half.
And we have a timeout on the floor. 3:57 left. Cedar Cliff leading Hershey by a score of 13-9. We'll be back with more right after this.
Now,
there's something to be said for a company that has survived the Great Depression, weathered a handful of recessions, and emerged from today's challenging marketplace stronger than ever. And it's worth noting that success has come while keeping its headquarters and decision-making local for more than 80 years. Perhaps growing deeper roots to ensure strength and stability is an idea whose time has come. We figured that out 8 decades ago. Penn National Insurance.
Got old electronics, such as a TV or computer to recycle? We've got your answer at the Dauphin County Recycling Center.
E-cycling is quick, easy, and free for all county residents.
You can also recycle old major appliances and other items safely at our center.
Have questions? Call our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or check our website for more information.
Recycling is now more convenient than ever.
Join us in going green to protect our environment.
Keep our earth clean and green. Wipe out waste and recycle.
Knoll Insurance, located at 704 Bridge Street in New Cumberland. They offer property, casualty, auto, homeowners, health, and life insurance. Knoll Insurance also offers notary services. Call Knoll Insurance today at 774-8128.
Back at Cedar Cliff High School, 3:57 left.
All right, at halftime, we have the Arlington Orthopedic halftime shootout coming up, but we'll have fans shooting on behalf of key sponsors. They're winning. Anybody that makes the three-point shot will get a gift certificate to Galifty's to take the family out to dinner. Nice take by
Matt Banis
there.
inside there for Hershey. And also at halftime, after the shootout, stay tuned for the United Concordia Dental halftime report. It's coming up your way a little bit later this evening.
That'll be John, Todd, and I, and talking about what both teams need to do going out into the second half.
Logan Stump with the jumper.
You know, Jim Rao talked in the offseason a lot about Logan Stump and what he needed to work on. And the biggest thing he told Logan is to working on that shot off the dribble. And there's a good example of a player responding to the coach's instructions. And there's two nice pull-up shots in this game.
Banis inside again.
Now you got Tim Jett.
Tim Jett inside.
Yeah, he's mini Banis at this, or mini Brantley at this point. Oh, Harold's proud of his teammate over there.
Physical
in
in
for him.
there.
34 subbing for 44. I think Tim Jett would say there's a big difference in the physical size, but I'm sure he's proud to put a basket in there for him.
He's going to go to the line to try to complete a three-point play.
John, I think we should know too, and I know we're going to be seeing this in a little bit here. There is a chance for our fans at home to help us with Player of the Game. We have Jeff Morrow to our left here is going to have a vote for Player of the Game. Yourself, myself, Todd will chip in, but fans at home can vote for the Sun Motors Player of the Game, and we'll be popping up an opportunity for them to go vote in a little bit on that. So they'll be able to go to PA Sports Live TV and vote for their Player of the Game. Dan Sunderland and the guys at Sun Motors, big supporters of high school sports.
Foul out front. That's going to put the Colts in the bonus. 7th team foul of the half. So Hopkins is going to go to the line.
This is a hard-nosed player, Will Hopkins.
Missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Banis there to clear the board.
I tell you what, they've creeped up on it. It's 15-14. Cedar Cliff, Hershey's hanging around. Coach Blackburn likes this situation right now. There's Spinagle.
Drives to the hoop, Griffin Spinagle.
Well, they're up one at Cedar Cliff on the road, giving Brantley some well-needed minutes to keep from getting that 4th foul.
Pass inside, Cristo Majoke up and in off the glass.
Well,
Nice
Addison
move on
Murray's just outnumbered right there, got elbowed in the face there. Had to spit out a little blood, but that's a tough-nosed kid, number 10. But way to take advantage of the size mismatch with Cristo Majoke on Addison Murray. 6'5" to 5'9", big difference.
Murray takes it down the lane, kicks it out. Banis, baseline jumper, no good. Majoke with the rebound. Head to Aru, takes it in, he's fouled.
Good hustle by Joe Baker. He had no choice.
Nola Rue, just like in football, getting behind the defensive secondary. Here's the replay on that one. Doesn't even put it on the floor, just takes it right up and gets fouled.
Well, that was a good, clean play. Went right for the ball, John.
Rue makes the first. Colts back up by 2. The second one too strong. Loose ball picked up by Hopkins. Stump, outside jumper, good.
Wow, and that's a big basket. That gives them a 5-point separation here. Logan Stump showing why he's a Division I basketball player.
So just like that, the Colts are now back up by 5 with 1.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's 21-16. Banis down low, turns, faces, no good. Majoke, rebound, and they're going to call Banis on the foul.
Yeah, Matt has been staying out of foul trouble at this point, and fortunately for Hershey, okay, let's look at this replay here. Yeah, well, you got to call that one, especially when that's only one for Matt Banis. Fortunately for Hershey, he's in good shape in the foul situation.
That three-pointer for Stump was the first three-pointer for the Colts tonight.
Well, and that's a confidence booster for Logan Stump. Logan Stump missed Friday's game. A bad case of the flu, lost 8 pounds in the last week from what we have been told before the game. And for him to get back in the flow, I know Coach Rao is happy to see him flowing, because he's a much-needed piece of this puzzle of Cedar Cliff.
1 for 2 from the line. The lead is 6, 22-16. Biggest lead of the game. Jet off the rim, no good. Majoke starts the fast break. Up to Arun, they're going to call a block underneath.
Say what, Cedar Cliff trying to go big time here. These guys have been doing this on the playground all summer, so no big deal. It looks like Christo's going to go to the line. The foul actually occurred on the block right before that. Addison Murray trying to take that charge, got called for the block. That's his first foul.
Foul starting to mount. That's 10 now for Hershey. Only 5 for the home Colts. Majoke missed the front end of that 2-shot foul. He'll shoot another. Just under a minute to go. And can't coax that second one in, so he goes 0 for 2 from the line. Hershey down 6, 22-16. Fainus kicks it out.
Hershey's, I think, going to try for a last shot here. I think, you would think, try to get out of this half. Only down 2. Oh, okay. Spinagle.
For 3, no good. Off the clock up on top of the backboard.
Yeah.
So,
and John, if you know the typical makeup of the Hershey team, Jimmy Breyer fills that combo guard role, taking pressure off Spinagle to knock down these Jays. Just seems like Griffin Spinagle has not been in the rhythm this year that he normally is with shooting, because he's just playing a little bit out of position. And you see that here tonight as well, just not finding the mark.
Cedar Cliff holding for the final shot as we hit the final 10 seconds of tonight's second quarter. Joke puts it down. Shot Hopkins, no good, but there's going to call for the foul.
That might be 3 foul shots.
He was behind the arc. He's going to go to the line for 3.
He's behind.
Well behind the line.
Oh yeah, that's Addison Murray's second foul in a row here. Coach Blackburn not happy with that. You teach your players to go straight up and down and not to displace, but halftime's going to be a good time for Hershey to kind of regroup and get back out there with possibly Brantley to start the half. But you're not going to see a very aggressive Brantley, because he's going to have to get to the fourth quarter without that fourth.
Couple of bad fouls in the closing seconds by the Trojans. Brantley picked up his foul with 4 seconds left of the first. Now Addison with his second here with just 3 seconds left in the second.
Yep. We're going to get the home team coach coming off here, Todd McCall, right before we go to break, and then we're going to come back with our Arlington Orthopedic halftime shootout. Boy, I'm excited for that, John. I just wish I could take those shots instead of having to commentate a few, but I don't want to embarrass myself either. Jeez, it's been a while.
Just 1 for 3 for Hopkins as we come to the end of the first half. From Cedar Cliff High School, the home team Colts lead the visiting Trojans of Hershey by a score of 23-16. Now let's go to...
Looks like Todd's trying to set up with Jimmy Rao here. And kind of interesting to see what Jim has to say about this first half.
Todd, what's Coach have?
I'm here with Jim Rao. Coach, your team's trying to pick it up the pace a little bit there late in that second quarter. What will you tell your team going in here at halftime? Will you continue to push the ball, look up tempo?
Well, defensively, we got to continue to keep pressure on Hershey all over the court, but we're starting to lose our defensive assignments when we get back to the half court. And offensively, we got to be more patient against his own defense.
All right, you heard he's talking about patience and just getting on at defense. Thank you, Coach Rao.
Okay, we're at halftime. Cedar Cliff on top of Hershey, 23-16. We'll be back with our Arlington Orthopedic halftime shootout coming up right after this.
Groff Tractor and Equipment is PA's full-line equipment dealer, representing Case Construction along with other leading manufacturers. Groff Tractor has built a 53-year reputation in serving the total sales, rentals, parts, and service needs of its customers. Groff Tractor paves the way for your project from start to finish, offering the latest parts and equipment from Case Construction and more. Groff also offers 24/7 job site support. Groff Tractor and Equipment is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Having been to Arlington Orthopedics several times over the past roughly 15 years, I have found them to be very caring.
For 15 or 20 years, I've dealt with sciatic nerve pain down both legs. Kind of figured I was going to have that all my life.
Because of crippling arthritis, I no longer could hold on to things.
We went through this disc fusion surgery. It's just changed my whole life.
The pain is virtually gone, and he fully expects me to return to 100%.
You don't think about physical therapy until you need it. When an injury occurs, think Select Physical Therapy. Select leads the way in providing patients with clinical expertise using the latest medical research and techniques. Our team provides physical and hand therapy, pre- and post-surgery, work injury rehabilitation, and much more. With several locations in the Harrisburg area, let Select return you to activity at home, work, or play. Select Physical Therapy. Recovery starts here.
We're going to have a Select Medical Physical Therapy drawing. The winner of that will get a $25 gift certificate to Galifty's Restaurant. How much time you got? How much time? Okay, our first shooter representing Arlington Orthopedics is John McGee. Okay. All right. Representing Select Medical Physical Therapy is Julian Berry. Julian, a little bit of a softer touch on this one, okay? Okay. All right, one too hard, one too soft. We need one right in the middle here. This is Larry Roscoe representing Cleveland Brothers. Oh, okay, Larry. All right, now representing Penn National. Give it up for Mikey Howdeman. Shooting on behalf of Sun Motors is a confident Corey Dolan. Golden Corral, give it up for Corey. Woo! You would have thought he won $1 million. Good job. All right, Dauphin County Commissioners, representing them is Trevor McCloskey. Go ahead, Trevor. Okay. Representing United Concordia, Wilton Smith. Give it a shot, Wilton. Okay. Shooting on behalf of Pizza Hut is Jeremy Charles. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to enroll some of you guys in the basketball camp at this point here. All right, shooting on behalf of Gun Mowry, this guy looks interesting, Jordan Lawson. Okay, guys, come on over. All the winners, all these guys, give them a hand. They're winners. You know why? They get a chance to eat Pizza Hut pizza in the lobby. That's why they're winners. Give one more round of applause.
So here at Cedar Cliff High School, Cedar Cliff leads Hershey 23-16. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. Coming up next, the United Concordia halftime report. So stay right there. We'll be right back.
For generations, Caterpillar has delivered innovative products that help customers build strong, profitable businesses. And for more than 60 years, Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company has been Pennsylvania's source for first-class Caterpillar equipment, service, parts, and rentals. With 26 locations across Pennsylvania, we've grown right alongside our customers, delivering on our commitment to provide a superior experience and maximum value. Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company, helping Pennsylvania prosper since 1948.
Got old electronics, such as a TV or computer to recycle? We've got your answer at the Dauphin County Recycling Center.
E-cycling is quick, easy, and free for all county residents.
You can also recycle old major appliances and other items safely at our center.
Have questions? Call our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or check our website for more information.
Recycling is now more convenient than ever.
Join us in going green to protect our environment.
Keep our earth clean and green. Wipe out waste and recycle.
Dr. Scott King from Arlington Orthopedics is one of the few area experts on hip injuries. His professional hockey career with the Detroit Red Wings is featured in this exclusive interview. Watch as Dr. King explains his own experience with a hip injury and how it helps him identify with his patients. Dr. King goes on to analyze the varying hip injuries that have plagued popular athletes like Bo Jackson, Chase Utley, and Alex Rodriguez. For the full interview, type in pasportslivetv.com.
There's something to be said for a company that has survived the Great Depression, weathered a handful of recessions, and emerged from today's challenging marketplace stronger than ever. And it's worth noting that success has come while keeping its headquarters and decision-making local for more than 80 years. Perhaps growing deeper roots to ensure strength and stability is an idea whose time has come. We figured that out 8 decades ago. Penn National Insurance.
Welcome to the United Concordia Dental halftime report here at Cedar Cliff High School. Battle of unbeatens, two teams 4-0 in the early season. Hershey trails Cedar Cliff by a score of 23-16. John Reppitz of ABC 27, joined by Todd McCall. Charlie Fortney, the third member of our crew, is actually taking care of the halftime festivities here tonight. We did have a winner in the Arlington Orthopedic Shootout, so somebody got a gift card because of that. So, Todd, interesting game that very much anticipated. Early season matchup. Both teams started a little bit tentative. So how do you think it played out in the first half?
Well, one of the things that I thought might happen right away was I had alluded to the Hershey Trojans having trouble getting a shot off against that big front line in the 3-2 when the Colts are playing 3-2. But Charlie alluded then later that when they went inside to Banus, they cut that lead. And then as Cedar Cliff began to open it up and get out and run a little bit, it changed the course of the game. They went on that 8-0 run. And I think really what's going to happen is they've got to get back to 42 and 44, the Hershey Trojans do, to stay in this ball game today.
Charlie, if you're Paul Blackburn, are you happy with where you're standing right now, considering everything that went on in the first half?
Oh, absolutely. This is 3 baskets with the three-point line right now. And I think the point guards are going to benefit for Hershey from the first half, because until you play against that 6'10 wingspan of Christo Majoke, and I've measured it myself, I know what I'm talking about. These kids are long. You can't review that in practice. So I think hopefully they can benefit from the coaching at halftime to maybe throw over that, use some bounce passes, and then having Brantley in the lineup. I'm curious if Coach Blackburn is able to trust Brantley early. I think he's going to have to on the road. Todd, I don't know your thoughts on that, but again, it's one team getting hot away from this going either way at this point. I still think Cedar Cliff cannot feel comfortable right now, and I'm sure Jim Rouse communicated that.
Consequently, if they do bring Brantley back in and you're Jim Rao, do you continue to play your game and what you want to do, or do you go to attack the big guy and try to get that fourth foul?
Well, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing in the 3-2. I think right now, until those two big boys start beating them inside, Jim hasn't had to think about it. But it is time to go to Harold Brantley, and big-time players step up. Charlie, you said with 3 fouls, whether you're playing with 4, this is the kind of game that you got to have him on the floor to win it.
Yeah, and Brantley might be better served in the high post until you get to the fourth quarter. Because he is such a good passer. We saw Palmyra, Todd.
Definitely.
He actually was running point guard at one point, and he was blowing by people. It would be naturally, Paul Blackburn has been doing this a long time, successful at East Pennsboro, successful at Lebanon. I mean, this is not his first go-round. But look for Brantley to, I think, be a little more of a point guy and stay hard on Banis. Let only one foul. Let Banis go strong, and then hopefully for them, they can get people knocking down shots. But Cedar Cliff, one thing that's dangerous about Cedar Cliff is they have not gotten everything going at this point.
John, if I could say one thing, if I would take a look at Hershey defensively, what they're going to need to do, one of the things about being on the floor that I've loved so far in high school sports is that you can see whether or not somebody's getting a hand in contesting shots. I thought Logan Stump got a couple clean looks where, I mean, really, with a little bit of penetration. I mean, this guy's going to Gardner-Webb. They've got to get a hand in his face, and if he's going to be uncontested, he's going to hit 20 tonight.
I think one thing to kind of sum up the first half, 2 runs to end the quarter, 9-0 run by the Colts to end the first, 8-0 run by the Colts to take control here in the second quarter. So
It's going to be
you're watching
second half.
It should be. United Concordia Dental halftime report. We'll be back to Cedar Cliff with more, getting ready for the second half coming up in just a minute.
Select Physical Therapy College Spotlight. Brian Ortenzio is a former Cedar Cliff High School wrestling standout, PIAA state place winner, and the Reno Tournament of Champions second place finisher who has successfully taken his grappling skills to the height of NCAA Division I competition. Brian has become a rock-solid member of the University of Pennsylvania squad at the 133-pound weight class. Having just turned in a perfect performance at the Northeast Duels, he is looking to lift his senior year right off the mat. Brian is tonight's College Spotlight.
Look into the sun for coverage of student athletes from Palmyra, Hershey, and Lower Dauphin. Drew Weedman and the Sun staff are dedicated to weekly coverage.
Extra, extra! Read all about West Shore student and team success with the growing popularity of the Carlisle Sentinel, the pacesetter in Carlisle and West Shore Sports Review.
Patriot News has covered the region of Harrisburg since 1854, from all-star selections to championship reporting, the leader in central Pennsylvania sports news.
Back at Cedar Cliff High School, getting ready for the second half. And Charlie, one thing they always say in live broadcasting, always expect the unexpected. And we had it in the first half with that fire alarm late in the first quarter. Hopefully everything is back under control. And we're getting ready for the second half, which is now underway.
And it was not symbolic of anyone being on fire, because that was just a grounded out, tough-nosed first half for both teams. And that's because both teams are really well coached. And they've done their homework, and they're not going to make it easy on each other, that's for sure.
Hershey in blue. And Brantley is on the floor to start the second half. That's Matt Banis. Nice spin move. Rejected by Christo Majoke. Banis, nice drop step.
Well, that was probably a good positioning by Will Hopkins, but maybe a little bit of an acting job there. But Banis is a big guy. If he's going to put his body on you, you're going to get moved around, that's for sure.
And that's his second foul. Joke drives and kicks. Stump. Outside, no good. Brantley with a rebound. Inside to Brantley. Dishes to Banis.
Now there's a Harold Brantley in a passing role right now. Now he's on the block, trying to be a little careful. Ooh.
Nice move up and underneath.
Yeah, and you don't
Big guy inside for 2.
You don't get any better than that on the up and under textbook. The one thing that people underestimate about Harold Brantley, he's not just a big body out there. He's a good basketball player, and he does things right on the court, and he did it right there.
He's got good feet. Noah LaRue keeps it alive for the Colts and gets the bounce off the rim. Colts lead still by 7, 25-18. Brantley in the corner. Cross-court pass. Banis drives, pulls up, jumper, good.
And that's the passing we talked about with Brantley. Look, he's stuck in the corner with, I mean, that was like a quarterback making the pass the whole way across the court.
Logan Stump answers with a 3 of his own.
Yeah, and I'm not at a good angle to see it, but that looked like he was a few feet behind the three-point line there, John. With the college three-point line being over 20 feet now, You got to be able to shoot it a little further out.
Bad pass, but Majoke saves it. No LaRue three-pointer corner, and a hard off the rim, no good. Brantley with the rebound.
Noel not typically known for three-pointers, but he can get it going. He has those, a lot like Spinago, who'll have those big games where he just can't miss.
Banis one-on-one, takes it in, drives, banks it up and in. Nice drive by Matt Banis.
Wow, Matt Banis looked like a point guard on that play. Tell you what, I think it was a real smart decision. You usually don't encourage kids to wait and not sign early, but in Matt Banis' case, I think that's a good decision. He's going to land a great opportunity. And there's Christo Majoke showing his elusiveness around the basket.
So far, everything Hershey's had this third quarter, the Colts have answered right back with a basket of their own. Hershey breaks the press, bad pass. It's going to stay at that end.
Wow, I would hate to have to play against Jim Dooley's 1-3-1s at Cumberland Valley were tough enough for me. I'd hate to have to play against a 1-3-1 with the length and the size of Cedar Cliff.
Over the baseline, Hershey inbounds underneath. Spinagle, baseline, shut off. Inside to Banis. Actually went through the hoop, underneath, up and in.
And you're seeing Johnny Miller. I don't naturally, okay, there you go. Spinagle.
It's going to go through the rim from the underside.
Oh, that's a foul on Christo Majoke, actually. That's his second.
His second.
It looked like that was on Stump. But you're seeing Johnny Miller making adjustments out front. The junior guard, Coach Blackburn putting a lot of confidence in number 14. Had big game against Palmyra, 4 threes. At a big turning point in the game where they just gave him that cushion. They're making a nice decisions out front right now in the beginning of the second half for Hershey.
The lead is 7. Cedar Cliff on top, 30-23.
Wow, looks like a 1-3-1 for Hershey right now. Keystone Division is often known for these zone defenses. The Commonwealth, you'll see a lot more man-to-man.
Logan Stump deep in the corner, buries the 3. Biggest lead of the game, it's now 10, 33-23, Cedar Cliff. We approach the halfway point. Tonight's third quarter, foul out front, right in front of the Hershey bench.
Well, this is a crucial point in the game here. It's 10 points, it's on the road. You got Stump getting it going from outside. This is where Hershey's gonna have to answer here, because we saw last year when Cedar Cliff played Redland in this very gym, once this crowd gets into it, once this Cedar Cliff team and the athleticism gets going, it's kind of hard to pull that back.
And they've opened up a 10-point lead with the crowd not really being into it that much. Miller gets it back outside to Spinagle.
Banis wants the ball inside, and they're not looking. He's asking for that basketball. And if I'm 6'9" or 6'8 and a half, and I'm your teammate, I'm getting you the basketball, especially when you got a guy guarding you that's 6'2", 6'3", maybe at the most.
And we have a timeout on the floor.
That's our TV timeout.
So Cedar Cliff on top by 10. We'll be back with more third quarter action right after this.
High School Sports Live is brought to you by
Hemp Brothers, paving the way in concrete, asphalt, crushed stone construction services. Keystone State Games, Pennsylvania's largest amateur athletic festival. NK Sporting Goods, partnered with NK Graphics, has been outfitting the teams of Central PA for over 25 years. United Concordia, ensuring America's dental health for over 40 years. Regen, muscle recovery beverage. Experience the raw power of natural cocoa. Groff, Tractor and Equipment, we're your #1 source for everything under construction. Sun Motor Cars, experience Central PA's ultimate driving headquarters. Central Pennsylvania Basketball Officials Association, become an expert at knowing one rule, one interpretation. Advanced Hoops, contact us at 657-2620 or visit us online at advancedhoops.com.
High school. Boys high school basketball action. 2 undefeated teams, both 4-0 in the early season. Cedar Cliff leading Hershey by a score of 33-23. Coach Paul Blackburn.
You know what, Coach Black, I talked a lot in the last broadcast, John, about the nucleus, you know, the mainstay of the assistants over the years. But this guy right here has put this time, and he has been the guy for this job. It's hard taking over a program like Hershey after winning a mid-pen championship. But Blackburn's experience, Blackburn's background at East Pennsboro and Lebanon, his success there, he's made a lot of right moves, and these kids are playing for him, and they're playing with a lot of confidence.
Trojans patiently on, working the perimeter. Baines pulls up for three and nails it.
Well, I don't know, you know, I like to bring this to the fans, but there's a competition going on right now between a nice competitive competition between Logan Stump and Matt Baines. Logan hits a three down there and looks at Matt like, hey, what do you got? And Matt just hit a three and looked at Logan and said, hey, what do you got? Boy, I love it. It's like the playground.
And they're covering each other.
And Jeff, I'm next, baby. I got the next game. I'm picking Morrow on my team, Repitz at the guard.
No, I'm power forward.
Oh, you're power forward.
I'm a Brantley
Jim
type.
Gallagher at the wing, our stat guy. There's Brantley trying, Stump trying to post up Baines, popping on the perimeter.
Cedar Cliff showing patience on offense until that misstep by Colton Lewis.
You know what? I usually agree with the officials on that. I was kind of curious what that foot looked like there because I didn't really get that one, but I could be proved wrong though.
Todd McCall has something for us on the sideline. Todd?
Gentlemen, I'm here with Tressa Cook from Select Medical Physical Therapy. Tressa, one of the things that we appreciate your sponsorship tonight, but you were a basketball player. Not only are you a physical therapist, talk a little bit about this game tonight.
Oh my gosh, this game is fabulous. You have two great teams. They're playing their hearts out right now. It's a really close game. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
I was excited to hear that you're a basketball player, but more importantly, you're a physical therapist. Talk about some of the things that you do in the community.
We have a great time in this community. There's so many great athletes, so we treat a lot of their sports injuries, anywhere from ankle sprains to ACL reconstructions. So it's really, really exciting to work with them and get them back to their sport.
And how do the people at home find out about you guys? Where can they go to get more information?
We do have a website that you can go to. You can also check us out. We're right across the street on 11 and 15 across from Boss Paws, the Giant, right in the Penn State Hershey Medical Center. Just come on in, talk to me. I'll help you guys out.
Well, Teresa, we thank you for your time tonight and your sponsorship. Thanks for being a High School Sports Live. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Todd. Under 2 minutes to go. No score change. It's still Cedar Cliff up 33-26.
Well, and Brantley, you know, and this is where the length of Cedar Cliff is paying off. We just saw in those few possessions, Brantley gets a good opportunity, but those are some long outstretched arms to shoot over, and it altered his shot. And both teams playing very aggressive. It's a 7-point game. It's still 3 baskets. Anybody's ball game at this point. You know, it's kind of hard to call player of the game right now. You know, I guess we'll hear from Jeff Morrow in a few minutes in between the quarter breaks here. I'm curious with his take, but I know Logan Stump's hit some big shots and Baines has hit some big shots. That might be what I don't know, that might be what I'm thinking, but it just seems like anybody, how this game turns out in the fourth quarter could determine a player of the game.
Minute and a half to go, third quarter. Colts up by 7. Pass inside Noel LaRue, and he is fouled.
Jim Rao is asking his players to get angles, to get a better angle to the post guy. They're definitely trying to take advantage of it, but the passing angles, they're not catching the ball in the best position. And there's a nice steal by Hershey on the inbound.
Team fouls tied at 3-3 here in the third quarter. Brantley outside. Spinagle, long three-pointer, gets it off the glass and in.
Well, and that might get Griffin Spinagle's confidence going here because that's the first three he's made this game and in a little while here, and that's a guy that Cedar Cliff's going to have to keep an eye on.
So after falling behind by 10, Hershey's hit the last 2 3-pointers. They now trail it by 4 as we're under a minute to go, third quarter. 33-29. Addison Murray checks back in for Hershey. Stump, 3-pointer, no good. Tipped around. Ball is loose. John Miller for the Trojans. He's going to top a 3 of his own. No good. Follow-up Brantley. He gets the foul.
Yeah, and look for Blackburn to possibly. Nice follow-up by Brantley here. A smart move, going right up with it, just like Zach Gallick did in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Blackburn tries to get Harold out for the last 43 seconds after the foul shot so he doesn't get his 4th foul. It would be smart, but now if Brantley misses this, then he's not going to have a chance of something. He's going to have to be smart. But you don't want the big guy to get, and plus it's 43 seconds to rest. You don't want the big guy with a foul.
7-0 run by Hershey to get back in it. Brantley with a chance to make it an 8-0 run. Misses.
Well, and Garrett Hines did go to the bench, but he missed a shot there.
Long pass.
And Coach Blackburn is just happy that there is no foul on Brantley on that play.
Gallick missed it underneath. Trojans with a chance to cut it to 1 or even tie. Under half minute. Coach Blackburn saying we're going to run the Oklahoma play. It's going to hold for the final shot.
All I hear is power, Coach. Hold for power or something like that.
Under 10 seconds.
We got mid-pen coaches watching at home here, so they're writing down power on their score sheets.
Kick ball, so the Trojans are going to get possession on the baseline. 2.2 to go. And here comes that substitution you're talking about. Garrett Hines coming in. Brantley's going to sit the final 2.2.
This has got to be a quick shot. You only got 2 seconds. Found Johnny Miller.
There it is. Off the rim. No good.
Okay.
So after opening up a 10-point lead, falling behind by 10, it was Hershey coming back to make a game of it. End of 3 quarters. Cedar Cliff on top, 33-30.
You don't think about physical therapy until you need it. When an injury occurs, think Select Physical Therapy. Select leads the way in providing patients with clinical expertise using the latest medical research and techniques. Our team provides physical and hand therapy, pre- and post-surgery, work injury rehabilitation, and much more. With several locations in the Harrisburg area, let Select return you to activity at home, work, or play. Select Physical Therapy. Recovery starts here.
Advanced Hoops is announcing its Winter Skill Builder beginning in January. Our program is incredible. Skill Builders is uniquely geared for youth 5 to 10 years of age. Parents can just sit back and watch your child develop skills that will reap dividends as they grow. Charlie Fortney's professional staff instructs young players in the fundamentals of the game. Not only is it exciting, it's also affordable. Jump into action with kids from all over the region. Locations in Hershey and Harrisburg. Get off to the right start with Advanced Hoops.
Back at Cedar Cliff High School, Cedar Cliff leading Hershey 33-30. John Repitz along with Charlie Fortney. We're joined by Patriot News sports reporter Jeff Morrow. And Jeff, pretty good first 3 quarters so far. What do you think?
Right now, I think that Cedar Cliff's depth is proving to be the slight advantage. Right now, the best player on the court is Matt Banis from Hershey. But with Harold Brantley in foul trouble, it's been Cedar Cliff's advantage, that depth, having 5 guys on the floor at any time that can score. Logan Stump with some big baskets. And right now, that's the difference for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you have any thoughts on player of the game, or pretty much those 2 guys?
Well,
right?
I mean, if you're sticking with a team that wins, I would go with Stump. But right now, I said the best player on the court is Matt Banis.
And Jeff, I want to compliment you guys. I think when it came to the Keystone Division, naturally these teams and players, they're stumped again.
Yep.
They got to prove that they're better than their ratings, but picking these guys 1 and 2 was ideal. And I think proven to be exactly that. And I think Paul Blackburn's happy you didn't pick him number 1. He doesn't want any pressure.
Nobody wants to be picked number 1, Charles. But the Keystone Division just has tremendous depth. It's better this year than it was last year. The bottom feeder teams last year were easier to beat, not so anymore this year. There's no gimmies in the Keystone.
Well, and look at Lower Dolphin beating Redland, and a very feisty Palmyra team losing to Redland. So, and look at Mechanicsburg getting some gutsy wins this year. So
Lower Dolphin. Yep.
I agree with you. It's a very, very tough top-to-bottom Keystone Division this year.
Little sloppy play here to start the fourth quarter. Both teams have turned it over once to start this final 8 minutes.
7 turnovers for Hershey in the first quarter helped dig them into a hole that they've been trying to work their way out of.
Yeah.
Miller drives, pulls up.
So Jeff, do you agree with me? It looks like Johnny Miller kind of grew up from the first half where he had several turnovers. He's starting making better decisions.
Yes.
Brantley with the steal takes it all the way up and in.
And I think the fans should know that there's no expectation of a dunk for Harold Brantley there, but there is an expectation he's either going to get fouled or put that ball in the hole in some way or the other.
You're going to stay out of the way of Harold Brantley if you know what's better for you.
Going to Syracuse. Talked to Coach Catafio, the football coach for Cedar Cliff, before the game. And losing to Hershey was one of their tough losses this year in football. And he told me before the game that Harold Brantley himself made it tough on the Cedar Cliff football team. Now Harold Brantley himself is making it tough on the Cedar Cliff basketball team. So I think Cedar Cliff's going to be happy to see Harold Brantley leave the campus.
Charlie, there's a difference between football shape and basketball shape.
Yep.
And Harold had to come in and make that adjustment, but he's in better overall shape this year than I think he was last year, and that's making a big impact, and he's been one of the dominant forces for Hershey in the early going.
Oh, yes. I mean, 16 points a game. There's a nice entry by Johnny Miller.
There he is, up and in.
Actually, Griffin Spinagle, nice entry pass.
It's a one-point game.
Jeff, thanks. We're looking forward to having your input on player of the game toward the end of the broadcast.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
35-34. Favors Cedar Cliff. Stump outside.
That zone defense for Hershey, good timeout by Rao. You could tell that Cedar Cliff does not know how to handle the way Hershey's doing this. Hershey's not playing two up on him, playing off just to contain. And Jim doesn't coach his players to jack it up one-on-one, so look for them to come out possibly with a drawn-up player, or maybe getting a player a shot here.
To order copies of tonight's broadcast, just email advancedadmin@verizon.net. So if you enjoyed the action of this one, I'm sure it'll also include the action of the evacuation we had a little bit earlier.
Well, what's nice about getting a professional copy of these games is they're done. The broadcast quality is tremendous, and the copies are very, very reasonable by our production crew. So we've had several of the families of the players call and order 5, 10 at a time. We definitely some package deals for the larger orders, but it's a nice keepsake because it's not often you have a relative or that's playing on a basketball team that's on television in high school.
That's right. They really do make great Christmas gifts, don't they? Gifts for any occasion.
That's a good idea, actually.
Just under 6 minutes to go, fourth quarter.
And a reminder to the fans that they can vote for their player of the game, their Sun Motors player of the game. They can go to PASportsLiveTV.com right now and vote for their favorite player of the game. Fans, we like when you go to PASportsLiveTV.com. It helps us get a feel for the action at home while listening to the broadcast.
Jim Rouse absolutely beside himself. He calls a timeout, and right off the inbounds, Hershey steals the inbounds pass and hits a bucket to take the lead.
Well, we talked about that before the game. This Hershey team's not going to go nowhere. They got a lot of cohesion. And there's Addison Murray, an uncharacteristic score. And there's Addison Murray getting his third foul, but making Logan Stump's life miserable on defense.
There's Murray with that little runner in the lane to put the Trojans on top. 36-34. 35.
Looks like they're boxing and wanting, or at least highly focusing on Logan Stump. They do not want Logan Stump to beat them. You got Danny Jackson all over Stump. Going to Aru inside. Colton Lewis at the foul line for the jumper.
He hits.
That's
big
his shot.
basket by Lewis.
Well, that's Lewis's shot. The foul line, elbow jumper. And that's a good idea by Stump. Not trying to force it, but get his teammates involved.
That's another lead change. Colts back on top. Banis, long three-pointer for Hershey.
Matt Banis is playing like a man possessed this year. He's on a mission, and he made that shot, put his fingers up with confidence, knowing that he was going to be leading his team. That's the difference in Matt Banis this year, is there's a confidence level. And we're talking again about these B&B brothers, Banis and Brantley.
There's an offensive foul against the Colts.
Well, there's a reaction here to some tough defense, and I think this is, I don't know if we have a replay there, but I think we got a reaction here. I think this was on Stump. He was getting defended hard and might have reached back out to try to, out of frustration. Either way, this is a battle, and you're going to have this. Now we got 7 turnovers for Cedar Cliff in the second half, I believe. Wow.
Officials having to do some tidying up on the court. A couple players went down, so they're pulling out the towel.
Okay, here's that replay. See if we can, okay, that's not the foul replay, but we'll catch this a little later possibly, but that was, it just shows that both teams are playing hard right now.
And it's Colton Lewis with a steal for the Colts in the lane. That pass was tipped away. Majoke out top.
Hershey in a man-to-man.
Logan Stump fouled in the act of shooting.
Well, and Logan Stump's working really hard to get an open shot. You got Danny Jackson is playing him unbelievably hard, and did give him a little push there before the shot. Logan Stump goes up aggressively for the shot. That's what Coach Rao wants from him.
So Stump can go to the foul line. Makes the first. He will shoot another with a chance to tie.
You know, I'm going to say something here, and it's important to give credit where it's due, but this has been a well-officiated ball game. Well, I haven't heard one comment from any fans about bad calls or anything.
Addison Murray strong to the hoop, gets the basket and the foul.
Addison Murray used his body tremendously well there. He textbook kids at home used his body and shielded the left hand for that layup.
Missed the foul shot. 41-39 Hershey's. We approach the halfway point of the fourth quarter. Majoke from in close.
That's a teardrop, baby, right there. That's a playground move, and that's not the first time he's made that shot.
Tied at 41.
Coach Rao not happy about the back Will Hopkins reach around defense there. And that's not like Will Hopkins. And Coach Rao's letting him know, hey, buddy, come on, do what you normally do. And he's just like a trooper. Okay, Coach, I got it.
Both teams in the bonus with 4:02 to go.
Johnny Miller growing up on the big stage. A junior thrown to the Wolves this year, although Johnny had some good experience as a freshman and sophomore at the point guard spot for Hershey. So he's been here before.
Makes one of two. Hershey leads by 1, 4 minutes to go. Maybe. Trojans come up with the loose ball. Brantley takes it in.
Okay,
good defense.
That's a good no call. That's a very good no call by our officials crew.
Good job not to come down on Brantley when he was making those fakes underneath.
Yeah, good tie up there. These guys do college games, a lot of them in the mid-pen, so they see that all the time. They're not afraid of a little bit of contact as long as it was a clean defensive play.
Addison Murray, no good. Colton Lewis with a tough rebound.
Yeah, that was.
Noel LaRue misses underneath. Brantley with the rebound. LaRue with the reach-in foul.
Yeah, I'm curious what Todd's take on this is. This is heating up right now.
Todd, you're down there on the baseline. What do you think?
You know, Charlie and John, one of the things that you guys had talked about is the guard play out of Hershey had to step up. And right now, Miller and Addison Murray have stepped up. But when you get 44 on the floor, big-time players make plays. And Brantley squaring his body and getting inside has been the difference in the second half. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that's a good point, Todd. And you're right next to the players. It's almost like you're playing the game. Yeah. I kind of envy Todd. I'm in the third row. He's on the court.
Brantley misses. Colts start back the other way. Majoke kicks. Hopkins, jumper, no good. Hustles it back down, but Banis pulls down the rebound.
Yeah, that's got to be 10 or more boards for Banis at this point.
Johnny Miller, three, no good. Hustles it back down, up and in!
Oh my.
Unbelievable move. Johnny Miller of Hershey.
Wow. If you saw that shot from my angle, that looked like he just flinged it up there. And he runs down court like he knew it was going to happen.
2.5 to go. Trojans now up by 3. 44-41. Majoke for 3. Rims no good. Miller with a rebound.
I'll tell you what, Johnny Miller has been a big factor in the second half. Only 3 turnovers, I believe, by Hershey at this point. And that's good job by Johnny to steady things for Hershey. Up by 3 with 2 minutes to go.
Having to deal with the long arms on defense of Christo Majoke.
Brantley wanting the basketball at this point.
And you call a blocking foul as Banis started the drive to the hoop. We're now under 2 minutes.
You know, one thing, Noel LaRue has not gotten comfortable offensively for Cedar Cliff. Look at this. Oh my, wow.
Oh. Banis misses, Lewis pulls down the miss.
Wow, that's a big miss, and that's an unusual miss for Banis in the fourth quarter. Coach Rao wants to talk about it.
Wow.
Tell you what, this right now we got 44-41. John, I'm looking at a tempo right now that favors Hershey. They're real comfortable right now. Looks like Cedar Cliff is rushing things a little on offense. You know, Todd, I'm curious Todd's take on this right now because it just seems like Hershey on the road is very comfortable right now.
You know, Charlie, I think you said it. They've really settled down, and it starts with guard play. And second of all, I think, as you see the crowd behind me, I really think one of the things they've been able to keep the crowd out here just a little bit. But Banis putting the ball on the floor, he's able to do that from a big spot. I think that's really good in this game because big-time players step up when they need to, and we'll see how it continues.
Todd, you seem to have some friends over there in the Golden Corral.
My friends in the Golden Corral here tonight have been really supportive of me and high school sports, so I'm very appreciative. And they almost saved my life on the almost fire drill. They told me to get out while I can, but I think we're all okay right here. All right.
Charlie, his Jim Rao changed his offense. In the first half, it seemed like they were running the offense through Christo Majoke out front. Now everything has been going through Logan Stump coming in off the corners.
Well, and Logan demonstrated in that first half he had the hot hand. I think Coach Rao wanted to put the pressure and open up other things for the teammates, which it did. But as we can see, we haven't had a lot of conversions, a lot of missed shots by Cedar Cliff around the basket, and that's one of them.
Majoke drives no good. Brantley with a rebound. And the big guy's going to bring it down himself.
They want to foul Brantley is what they're saying at this point. I think that's...
Minute 30 to go. Banis drives, shuts off on the baseline. Loose ball, Lewis pulls it up. Noah LaRue to the hoop, up and in.
Cedar Cliff wanting to put pressure on the ball, trying to use this home crowd to their advantage.
Had Addison Murray wide open underneath. They finally get it to him, kicks it back out.
Paul
Blackburn's going to call.
I'll tell you what, that was a smart timeout because he's got some defenders out there with the ball, and they were a little shaky right there. He needs to work something up here. Coach Blackburn's been in this situation more than once. You know, the Sun Motors player of the game, I don't know right now. It's 51 seconds to go. Jeff Morrow, what are you thinking? Up in the air because, you know, when it's 44-43, the player of the game is the guy that possibly makes one of those game-winning decisions. But, John, what are you thinking?
I don't know. Let's see who makes the final basket. The way this is going, it's going to be maybe the last team with the ball makes the basket to win the game. So that might be. But I tell you, hey, that move by Miller, that deserves something anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I'll
win
tell
or
you,
lose, that move deserves something.
I think we can talk about the candidates. You know, you got Banis leading Hershey in scoring. You got Stumpf leading Cedar Cliff in scoring. But then you got like Johnny Miller steadying things as a point guard out there. And then Brantley starting to come up big with some rebounds and some little things. And Cedar Cliff's getting some nice plays from Christo Majoke as well. Coming up January 3rd there, we got Steel High at Harrisburg. 7:30, that's a cornerstone rivalry of PA Sports Live. Look forward to tuning into that broadcast.
That doesn't matter what the records are in that game. That's about as good as it gets as far as rivalries are concerned.
Well, and Steel High showing some real promise this year. They're playing very competitive basketball.
Ball gets into Brantley as we now go under a minute, fourth quarter. Hershey on top by 1.
Hershey's going to be content with, I think, not a shot right now, just getting fouled. Because every foul.
Brantley throws it away. Colts get the ball back 45 seconds ago, a chance to retake the lead.
Well, and if you had a shot at Matt Banis after that turnover, he's cheering his team on, much like Tebow. Hey, let's just focus on defense right now, showing some good leadership. Boy, this crowd's into it.
Noah LaRue drives, tried to dish it inside. Officials look one way, and it's going to stay Colts ball. 27 seconds to go.
Todd, what do you look for Cedar Cliff to do here? I know they're cleaning up the court right now. What do you look for them to do? They're down 1. What shot are they looking for with 7 seconds to go?
Clearly, Coach, you know they want that high percentage shot. Look for one of the guys to go off the dribble. Noah LaRue, his last basket was a nice advantage going baseline. Look for him to get the ball in their hands and try that one-on-one and clear the side.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Because when they've been catching it in the posts in the game, the size of Hershey, they haven't come up with much. Isolating a side may be a great idea.
After all that, to get the court cleaned up, we're going to have a timeout. Jim Rouse says, let's talk things over. And there's the Golden Corral, the student section here at Cedar Cliff.
Wow, they give the Cameron Crazies a run for their money. Oh, they calmed down here a little bit. I don't know who told them to stop, but that looked pretty impressive.
Behind the one basket, and I can feel our table shaking over here at courtside.
Yeah, I think we're going to need help from the fans at home for the player of the game because,
as they say, too close to call. PASportsLiveTV.com. Log on now. Get in your vote for the Sun Motor Player of the Game.
Our stat guy, Jim Gallagher, is predicting Logan Stumpf gets his shot.
Inside Aru, good! Off the inbound, Nola Aru puts the Colts on top. Spinagle to Brantley, up and in! And the foul.
Well, and
Hopkins on the reach in.
And I'm going to tell you something, Todd. You called that perfectly at the other end. Noel Rue was the guy that got the ball, but who would have predicted Harold Brantley on the other end answering like this?
And he gives the Trojans a 2-point lead.
15
seconds to go.
Look for another slashing drive by Cedar.
The joke. Spin in.
Yes! Oh, it's
Christo Majoke, 5 seconds left, ties it at 47. He's going to go to the line for a foul shot, a chance to put the Colts in front.
It is literally pandemonia here at Cedar Cliff. I have never felt anything like that. Oh,
here it is one more time. Gets the up and in off the rim.
Wow. Oh my goodness! Now let's talk.
For what it's worth, that foul was on Banis, but he had no option. He had to go for it.
Todd McCall is excited to get a word in over there, but Todd, I'm first. 5 seconds to go. Majoke on the foul line. Hershey drawing up an opportunity, planning for whether or not there's a made or miss. It doesn't get any better than this. 5 seconds is enough time to get a great shot or a great play on the other end in high school basketball in an 84-foot court. Todd, what are your thoughts?
I tell you what my thoughts are. These are the kind of games that make me want to be part of it all over again. And I know, Charlie, you've been out of it a little bit too. You want to be part of this. This is why you practice. This is why you bring high school basketball live in front of people into their living room. Can't believe it tonight. What a great one it's been.
Well,
what you're seeing is you saw Aru, then you saw Brantley, and then there's the Majoke basket.
And don't go anywhere, because with 5 seconds to go, we don't know how this is going to end. We could be going to overtime here, folks, but I know Christo Majoke is. This foul shot could seal the deal for Cedar Cliff, possibly.
Now Paul Blackburn's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, he wants to ice Majoke, make him think about it for sure. And that's why coaches save their timeouts. That's for sure.
Guys, if you like this one, tune in tomorrow night. We have another boys game coming your way. Trinity and Mechanicsburg. That's coming your way tomorrow night at 7:30 here on ABC 27.3. And then after the New Year break, Steel High Harrisburg. That's all you got to say. Steel High Harrisburg boys basketball. We'll have it for you live right here on January 3rd at 7:30.
Well, and I'll tell you, that Trinity Mechanicsburg game is a backyard rivalry.
And don't forget, we have wrestling coming up after the first of the year, too. Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin. Here we go to the line. Christo Majoke, 5 seconds left. One foul shot to put the Colts in front. The crowd's reaction will tell you what happens. No good.
Brantley to Banis.
Banis. No, we're going to go overtime.
Oh, wow. What a good shot opportunity.
5 seconds left. So we aren't quite done yet, folks. Don't go anywhere. There's the shot by Banis off the glass, off the rim. No good. So we're going to play another 4 minutes. 32 wasn't enough to decide this.
What a game.
You don't think about physical therapy until you need it. When an injury occurs, think Select Physical Therapy. Select leads the way in providing patients with clinical expertise using the latest medical research and techniques. Our team provides physical and hand therapy, pre- and post-surgery, work injury rehabilitation, and much more. With several locations in the Harrisburg area, let Select return you to activity at home, work, or play. Select Physical Therapy. Recovery starts here.
Advanced Hoops is announcing its Winter Skill Builder beginning in January. Our program is incredible. Skill Builders is uniquely geared for youth 5 to 10 years of age. Parents can just sit back and watch your child develop skills that will reap dividends as they grow. Charlie Fortney's professional staff instructs young players in the fundamentals of the game. Not only is it exciting, it's also affordable. Jump into action with kids from all over the region. Locations in Hershey and Harrisburg. Get off to the right start with Advanced Hoops.
You know what? I was just talking to the kids here, and Charlie, John, they want to win this game. If they said if they win the game, no school tomorrow, but I don't think they're going to cancel school for a non-win. Back to you guys.
Overtime underway. Cedar Cliff and Hershey tied at 47.
That puts it in perspective.
Long three-pointer by Spinagle, no good. Hopkins with a rebound.
Well, you know what? Overtime is an appropriate way to end a game that's been played like this. I mean, you never see a team you never want to see a team lose on like a barn burner. But 4 more minutes to play. I'm game, Jeff.
Charlie, one of the things that now that I'm not coaching, don't think that there is not some coaches from the Keystone watching this game right now and getting everything they need for a scouting report. That's another thing that just brings it to your living room. I wish I had that advantage as a coach.
Well, Todd, there's coaches in the LL League watching this game tonight because I've gotten communications from a few that they're appreciating it being on TV. So to put it in perspective, there's a lot of people watching this game tonight.
Maybe we could just get the coaches to order copies of the show. What do you think? Shot no good, rebounded by the Colts, Colton Lewis. Still tied at 47.
Tell you, Hershey's done a great job on Stump. Murray, Jackson, the manager, the cheerleaders, everybody's been guarding Logan Stump here to try to keep him from being hot, but his size.
He gets it inside, hard off the backboard, no good. Lewis, rebound, good.
Well, and that's why you go to players, because that attention on Stump, even though he missed and the putback, the attention's on him, it frees up Lewis for a basket. And Lewis has been doing a good job cleaning up tonight.
Cedar Cliff now up. Spinagle inside, altered shot, no good. Ball loose, and Colts ball.
Tell you what, you can see with Hershey, they haven't subbed quite as much. They're relying on you can see a tiredness about Hershey right now. You saw it in Spinagle right there. Let's see, I don't know if conditioning will be a factor, but you can definitely see they're a little spent right now.
2.5 to go. Let's call this our first overtime.
Well, yeah, I agree. There could be another one.
Shot no good, rebounded by Miller of Hershey.
Hey, I have nowhere else to go. I'll be here all night.
It's still early yet. You can do your Christmas shopping tomorrow. Banis inside, feed to Brantley. Loose ball, tied it up.
You know what? I'm going to say I'd like to see Banis a little more aggressive on offense. That was unselfish, but the big guy's the only one that they're not going to be able to block his shot if he goes strong.
Alternating possession goes to the Colts. So with 2 minutes left in overtime.
Wow, and that's some
first one of the game. I was going to say, I don't remember too many of those.
First jump ball of the game. Thank you, Jim Gallagher.
Cedar Cliff up by 2. Minute 50 to go in overtime. 49-47.
Jim's our stat guy, played at Lycoming. Teammate of Jay Cleveland.
Aru spins inside, reach in foul. He's going to go to the line.
Double bonus on both sides.
You're talking about Logan Stump losing weight when he played the other night when he was sick. I wonder how many pounds Jimmy Rouse sweated off tonight.
Well,
I mean, his shirt is soaked through.
I don't know if we have a shot of Coach over there, but I was thinking the same thing right before you said that.
It was a light-colored shirt when the game started. It's now a dark gray. Aru makes the first.
And that is 4 fouls on Harold Brantley, but at this point, with 1:40 to go,
he played the whole second half with 3.
Coach Blackburn's going to just go with it. He has, and that's, you have no choice. With just 1:40, let's play it out.
Short off the rim, ball is loose. Chases it down, it's still loose.
What a hustle play by Noah Rue to follow that foul shot.
Big miss, though, at the foul line as it's just a 3-point game, still 1 possession. Hershey with a chance to get it to 1 or tie. So we had 1.5 minutes to go in overtime.
Looking to post up Brantley.
Big guy's got it. Kicked out to Spinagle. Baseline inside to Banis. Nice move, Matt Banis.
Nice left hand by Banis. I'll tell you what, Banis has scored in almost every way tonight. Left hand, pull-up shots, 3-point shots. What versatility.
Majoke out front, brings Banis with him.
I tell you what, Cedar Cliff looks like they're happy to draw them out. I don't know if Jim Rao wants a shot unless it's a layup at this point. 55 seconds to go, and he trusts his team. Try to get an isolation here with Christo Majoke, and there's a foul on Banis. Plan works.
Addison Murray of Hershey doing a great job on defense. He was inside Logan Stump's jersey on that possession. Stump couldn't breathe. But Majoke is going to go to the line. 47 seconds left. Paul Blackburn's going to call a timeout.
Now, when we come back, we're going to see the end of this. We got 56 seconds.
There's something to be said for a company that has survived the Great Depression, weathered a handful of recessions, and emerged from today's challenging marketplace stronger than ever. And it's worth noting that success has come while keeping its headquarters and decision-making local for more than 80 years. Perhaps growing deeper roots to ensure strength and stability is an idea whose time has come. We figured that out 8 decades ago. Penn National Insurance.
Regulation wasn't enough to finish this one between 2 unbeatens. Both teams 4-0. Hershey, Cedar Cliff. We were tied at 47 at the end of regulation. We are now in overtime. Cedar Cliff clinging to a 1-point lead. It's 50-49, 47 seconds left in what could be the first extra period tonight.
Well, and Christo Majoke has made some big plays tonight, but he is 2 for 8 from the foul line.
And had the big miss with 5 seconds left. It could have won.
Could have won the game. So these are some big foul shots. This is a chance for him to redeem himself with 47.7 left on the clock. What a great atmosphere for a game here at Cedar Cliff.
So Majoke goes to the line. He's going to shoot 2. Post is good.
Wow, that was perfect. This is the big one, though. This forces Hershey to have either 2 possessions or try to find a 3, and a rebound after that could seal it. So this is a big shot.
Makes the second. 3-point lead for the Colts, 52-49.
Tell you what, didn't matter how many he missed to that point. Those were the 2 biggest ones.
Those were pure, baby.
Look for Hershey to try to attack the rim. They know it's a 2-possession game.
Long shot, no good. Ball loose. Pull down Spinagle. 3-pointer corner. Good!
Oh, my goodness.
Griffin Spinagle pulls down the loose ball, buries the 3-pointer. Here it is again. We are tied at 52.
Unbelievable. That's 2 threes in the second half for Spinagle. He made some adjustments at halftime. With 20 seconds to go, we may be looking at another overtime here.
Charlie, the great thing about that play was how fundamental he was. He pump faked, kept his feet, squared his body, and made it look easy.
Majoke
isolation on Brantley. Brantley has
5
4
seconds.
fouls.
Majoke drives, no good. It's tied possession.
That's a good call by the official.
1/10 to go.
And I don't even know if 1/10 is the chance. We're
going through a second overtime,
We're looking
folks.
at a second overtime here. Good rebound. That's a good jump. I'll tell you what, a lot of officials would have overreacted and called a foul, but that was smart to let the kids play this one out because that was a jump ball.
Okay, we're done with one overtime. We're going to be back for a second, but let's take a short timeout first. 52-52 Hershey Cedar Cliff. Back with more after this.
Each spring and fall, Advanced Hoops invites college coaches from all over the East Coast to showcase Central Pennsylvania's standout high school ballers, like Lower Dolphins' Cody Deal, Matt Banis of Hershey, David Craig from Cumberland Valley, Skylar Roman from Chambersburg, and many more. Representatives from several highly respected universities, well known as much for their academics as they are for their basketball programs, make it a priority to visit the Advanced Hoops gym to catch a glimpse of the best and the brightest players of the upcoming years. High school coaches like Hershey's Paul Blackburn recognize the benefits these programs provide for their players.
Charlie's always had an open door policy for a lot of people. Charlie's promoted Central PA hoops for the boys and the girls for a lot of years now, so he's done a lot of good things.
Advanced Hoops has placed over 50 players in college uniforms. Who will be next?
Charlie, I don't know what it is with Hershey High in our live broadcast. 2 years ago, we did a double overtime classic, Hershey and Redland. Tonight, this is another classic, Hershey and Cedar Cliff. We're going in a second extra 4-minute period.
Well, you said earlier about Coach Rao sweating. I mean,
you lost your coat late in the fourth.
I took my coat off a long time ago. Logan Stump jump balling against Matt Banis. It's almost like Groundhog Day here. It's like this thing keeps happening all over again. We keep waking up, and we have a jump ball between Stump and Banis.
Nice. A root of the hoop, good!
Nice pass.
Charlie, that was a design play right out of the huddle. And I tell you what, it couldn't come at a better time.
Yeah, you need a couple good plays to take the pressure off when you're tired. And Hershey's looking for one of them right now, and that's called Harold Brantley.
Miller, three. Good, Johnny Miller.
Wow, Johnny Miller. It's Miller time, ladies and gentlemen.
And the foul on Christo Majoke as Harold Brantley goes to the floor.
Okay, look how that goes. Basketball is a game of swings. Holy cow. Look at the Syracuse bound defensive tackle, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
That's Keith Jackson and fumble.
And that's 5 on Christo Majoke.
Johnny Miller, here's the replay. That three-pointer, just like that, puts Hershey on top.
Well, and all of a sudden, you went from Cedar Cliff having momentum on the dunk. Miller changes the momentum, and the foul on Brantley. Now you're looking at Hershey, Brantley at the foul line.
Gets free throws, plus you lose Christo Majoke for Cedar Cliff. So.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the longer we play, the more we're gonna be subbing Tom Mooney in the game. We're gonna be subbing Jim Gallagher in the game at this point.
Brantley makes the first foul shot.
I was talking to the Syracuse head coach after the Palmyra game. They came up. They're in all of their recruit. They wanted to see him play basketball.
Missed, but the Trojans are there for the miss. 2-point game. Hershey on top, 56-54. 3:15 to go in the second overtime. Brantley down low. Miller for three. Good!
Oh!
Johnny Miller!
Charlie, that was absolute ball movement that got that shot.
Wow.
Now that Johnny Miller's hot, tell me that this kid lived his whole life wanting to hit shots like that.
Well, I'll tell you, the textbook form, straight up, straight down. Got to give Miller credit. He has taken some very good shots.
Oh, and traveling foul or call on Noah LaRue as he drove to the hoop.
Jim Rao cannot believe that. Let's see what happened there. And I don't know if that was a travel. He cannot believe that call was made right now.
Banis, no good off the rim.
Cedar Cliff down 5. Stump, they have been in his shirt, and he has not been able to breathe. He's posting up right now, looking for the ball. Martinez trying to swing it to him.
We may have to give Addison Murray consideration for player of the game for the defensive job he's been doing on Stump in this second half.
And they're not getting the angles to Stump. And
tipped away by Brantley. Pulls down the ball.
Coach Rao is not happy with the angles for getting the ball to Stump around the post. And then Harold Brantley gets a very, very important steal.
Under 2 minutes to go. Miller fouled. He's going to go to the line. Trojans up by 5. Miller with a chance to stretch the lead.
Tell you what, Jimmy Breyer sitting on the bench over there, you can see he wants to get in this game, but he's chanting. He is so into this game, clapping for Johnny as he makes the shot. Just shows a good team chemistry there with Hershey.
Johnny Miller makes 2. It's a 7-point lead, 61-54, Trojans. Jimmy Rao's going to call a timeout for Cedar Cliff.
Still a lot of time.
Still time to come back, but you still got to make the next basket. You got to get one in.
We'll be back after this.
You've seen a lot of my sons, Todd and Ryan, over the years on TV. In fact, we've all grown a lot during this time.
We're all still here and stronger than ever. Now you can see me when you come into Hoffman Ford.
And I won't be far behind.
For 59 years, there's always been a Ford and a Hoffman in this showroom, delivering you the courtesy and respect that you deserve since 1953.
Come see what keeps our customers coming back generation after generation. Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Back at Cedar Cliff High School, we are live boys high school basketball action. Hershey leading Cedar Cliff 61-54. We are late in the second overtime.
We're with Jeff Morrow right here. Jeff and I were talking about how well Johnny Miller's been playing in the second half.
Yeah, Charlie, just wanted to point out that John Miller has 11 points, 8 of them in this double overtime, 3 in the fourth quarter. Had 4 turnovers in the first quarter and 1 since then. He's been the reason Hershey is back in this game and looking to take a win here.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. And you don't really know that until you see the stats.
Cedar Cliff in it, but they need a basket, and it's not going to come on that possession. As Stump fires up an air ball, so the Trojans get possession. Minute 29 to go. They lead by 7.
And that was trying to draw a foul, but
Brantley goes down. They call traveling on that.
It looks like he slipped over there, yeah. I think Coach Rao wants Logan to try to get to the basket instead of forcing the 3 there, but you know, this is something Logan Stump's going to have to get used to this year as he's going to get those special defenses on a regular basis. You know, and John, I don't know what your thoughts on player of the game. I know Jeff's leaning a little bit toward Johnny Miller. I still like the fact that Banas has been great all game long. But again, you're looking at, you know, if Hershey wins this game, it's a toss-up. Well, and even
Nola Rue, long 3, no good.
Look at Spinago hitting 2 threes in the second half. They're important. A big one to put it in second overtime.
Why don't we just give it to the whole team and have Todd try to interview everybody?
Well, it's a minute 14. I wouldn't say this game's over at this point because you got Christo Majoke as a candidate for Cedar Cliff. If they can go on to win this, you got Logan Stump's definitely a candidate. But you can see the air is out of Cedar Cliff. They're on their home court, down 7 with Miller on the foul line.
He makes another. You're saying you don't think it's over yet, but the body language of the Colts right now kind of says this is over. Like they gave it their best shot and they have nothing left in the tank. Miller short with the second, Stump with the rebound. It's an 8-point game. Minute 10 to go in the second overtime. Colton Lewis inside for Cedar Cliff. Cuts it to 6, 62-56. Miller is fouled right in front of us by Noel LaRue. So Miller's going to go back to the line.
Throw over, Cedar Cliff type defense, made the adjustments in the second half necessary.
Miller makes 2.
We talked about that in the United Concordia halftime report, the adjustments that needed to be made, and I'll tell you, the guards for Hershey have definitely done that.
And Hershey comes up with the ball again. So we're at 45 seconds to go. Lewis with the steal. Noel LaRue takes it in on Banis, drives, no good, but it's going to go to the line. Tell you, last year these teams played a 2-point game at Hershey. They played a 4-point game here at Cedar Cliff, and now tonight they're going double overtime. Folks, tomorrow morning, you might want to pick up your phone and get tickets to the second half game that they're going to play probably in about a month. That game's going to be in Hershey. Get your tickets now because it's going to be worth the price of admission.
Yeah, these two teams split last year, and the game was decided within 11 seconds of the games. And you have Matt Banis fouling out right now, earning every minute. I don't believe Matt Banis, I don't know how much he subbed all night, Jeff. I don't know if you have anything on that, but I don't think he's come out of the game in all the overtime. Very briefly at one point because of Harold Brantley's foul trouble.
So Aru makes 2 foul shots. It's now 64-58. 6-point game, 37 seconds left. Colts need a turnover.
Nice.
Brantley, Addison Murray, lays it in.
Brantley, what a great passer. What a great passer. He doesn't get enough credit for his passing.
Olaru, long, no good. Spinaga with a rebound. And that is gonna about do it, folks. As we're under 10 seconds. Hershey with an 8-point lead. We have a reach-in foul. So we're gonna have a couple more foul shots. And we're going to put this one in the books.
And you know, I don't know what Todd McCall's thoughts are on this right now, but this may be a early season loss for Cedar Cliff that may prove to be invaluable when we're commentating games later in the season as we move into playoffs, and we'll have this Cedar Cliff team. And because Coach Rao is a master at using things as building blocks. Todd, what's your thoughts on that?
Charlie, I think you said it. I mean, this is a wake-up call. These are the kind of things, if you're going to lose early. Now, with this Keystone division, either team, Hershey or Cedar Cliff, they've got to look over their backs. There's Susquehanna Township, Mechanicsburg, who plays really tough in the given night. So you just never know.
At the buzzer, no good. We're done. Hershey comes into Cedar Cliff and comes away with a classic double overtime victory. Hershey winning it by a final of 67-58.
Yeah, and when we come back, we're going to have our player of the game. Fans can still vote at home. Our Sun Motors player of the game, and talk to winning coach with Todd McCall. And then after that, we'll have our wrap-up.
For generations, Caterpillar has delivered innovative products that help customers build strong, profitable businesses. And for more than 60 years, Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company has been Pennsylvania's source for first-class Caterpillar equipment, service, parts, and rentals. With 26 locations across Pennsylvania, we've grown right alongside our customers, delivering on our commitment to provide a superior experience and maximum value. Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company, helping Pennsylvania prosper since 1948.
Having been to Arlington Orthopedics several times over the past roughly 15 years, I have found them to be very caring.
For 15 or 20 years, I've dealt with sciatic nerve pain down both legs.
kind of figured I was going to have that all my life.
Because of crippling arthritis, I no longer could hold on to things.
We went through this disc fusion surgery. It's just changed my whole life.
The pain is virtually gone, and he fully expects me to return to 100%.
Got old electronics, such as a TV or computer to recycle? We've got your answer at the Dauphin County Recycling Center.
E-cycling is quick, easy, and free for all county residents. You can also recycle old major appliances and other items safely at our center.
Have questions? Call our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or check our website for more information.
Recycling is now more convenient than ever.
Join us in going green to protect our environment.
Keep our earth clean and green. Wipe out waste and recycle.
Select Physical Therapy College Spotlight.
Etherton going down against the big guy off the glass and in. Nice. Etherton, and one, and it's good.
Last week, the Patriot News featured Hershey alum Scott Etherton as one of the top leaders in NCAA Division I for completing 76% of his shots. For women's hoops, freshman standout and former Hershey Lady Trojan, Kendall Benavie is making her presence known at Westchester University. Scott and Kendall are tonight's Select Physical Therapy College Spotlight.
We're here with victorious coach Paul Blackburn. Coach, I can't say enough about your team tonight. Double overtime and a crazy atmosphere on the road. How'd you guys do it tonight?
It's a Wolves credo. Nobody understands, but the people in the locker room, they're a pack of wolves. They go together. Nobody gets in our circle, and you have to come on the road and play like that. Jimmy Breyer being injured, we have Zach Hamilton injured. They haven't played for us yet this year, and we needed people to pick the team up, and Johnny's just one of the many that did it tonight.
Coach, to the left of me is player of the game, Johnny Miller. Can you talk a little bit about how he's just growing up and stepped up, and really, actually, the ball in his hands late in the game was really the reason, one of the big reasons you guys prevailed?
I think if you talk to Johnny, he's not going to take the credit for that, because I think that he did his part. If we do what we're supposed to do, if we defend every possession, I told him everything else always takes care of itself. Johnny's always been a great player. He's always done great things for us since he's been at the varsity level with us, and his teammates know that, and they trust him, and that's the special part. He's getting a personal accolade, but really the team deserves it, and he knows that.
Well, Coach Blackburn, you're 5-0. You got a great start. I'm going to let you get in the locker room with your kids, but a big victory for you guys tonight.
We're excited.
Here to the left of me is Johnny Miller. Johnny, 13 second half points. You stepped up and made some big threes and handled the ball really well. You're really starting to settle into your game at the point guard position, and that was key leadership. Talk a little bit about it tonight.
In the beginning of the game, it was a little rough coming out. Had to get my emotions out. TV game, big night. And it was really about just everyone had my back. Everyone's pushing me to do the right things, even though I messed up early in the game. Really pulled through in the end. Just had to keep doing, confidence. Just can't get down yourself. You have to keep playing.
Let me ask you one more question. When they go 3-2, the wingspan across there is 6'10", 6'8". At first it looked like it did change the course of your game early on. But once you guys settled down, what do you think the key was to just beat that size advantage?
I think it was just a way to play our game, force it down to our big man. Harold and Matt really stepped up. Griffin was shooting well. Addison picked up a couple points to Danny Jackson. Everyone was just playing well. We just played our game, played finesse. Didn't try to force it, just did what we had to do.
Well, number 14, Johnny Miller, is our high school sports live player of the game. And a big win, a statement game on the road. Hershey Trojans come in double overtime and get a big victory here in the Keystone Division. We'll be back after these messages with more postgame with John, Charlie, and myself.
There's something to be said for a company that has survived the Great Depression, weathered a handful of recessions, and emerged from today's challenging marketplace stronger than ever. And it's worth noting that success has come while keeping its headquarters and decision-making local for more than 80 years. Perhaps growing deeper roots to ensure strength and stability is an idea whose time has come. We figured that out 8 decades ago. Penn National Insurance.
Got old electronics, such as a TV or computer to recycle? We've got your answer at the Dauphin County Recycling Center.
E-cycling is quick, easy, and free for all county residents. You can also recycle old major appliances and other items safely at our center.
Have questions? Call our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or check our website for more information.
Recycling is now more convenient than ever.
Join us in going green to protect our environment.
Keep our earth clean and green. Wipe out waste and recycle.
John Reppes along with Todd McCall and Charlie Fortney. The double overtime classic here at Cedar Cliff tonight as Hershey comes in and takes care of the Cedar Cliff Colts by a score of 67-58. Guys, when you talk about one like this, where do you start?
Guys, John, Charlie, I'm so excited. Like I feel like I've coached this game. but one of the things I just think Hershey had to settle down. They got used to the height advantage in that 3-2. They settled down. They hit big shots, getting Brantley back on the floor, changed the course of the second half. And that was just a statement game and a key game on the road. Plain and simple.
And I have to, hats off to the team effort. Hats off to Cedar Cliff. They did a lot of great things, but I think this is a building block for them. Early losses when teams are predicted to go on and do great things. Hershey's no slouch, top second in the division picked. But this sets up for some great rivalry down the road with this game. But I will say that Johnny Miller, one turnover in the second half against a very tall, lanky defender type defense of Cedar Cliff was the key. His foul shots and his three-point shots just put the seal of approval on it for Hershey.
There were so many big moments in this one. It's kind of hard to single them out. Matt Banis of Hershey was just fabulous all game long.
All game, yeah.
The big guy, Harold Brantley, had to sit out a lot of the first half. Griffin Spinagle had the big play here with the steal and the three-pointer. Johnny Miller had some great plays, our player of the game, Sun Motor player of the game. But we were also chatting during the break. You have to give some credit to Addison for the job he did defensively on Logan Stump. When the game was on the line, Stump couldn't get his hands on the ball.
Every team in the Keystone or in any division needs a stopper. Charlie will tell you need a guy who can get in somebody's shirt. And what he did was I just think he took advantage of just having maybe some better conditioning because Logan was sick. And give him credit. Neither team lacked intensity. So I give hats off to both teams, the crowd, and everybody involved in this game. But I want to point out, in the second half, Cedar Cliff did the one-and-done thing. And, you know, Charlie and John, that'll kill you. It's one shot. 4 second-half offensive boards. And that's the big difference right there, I think, tonight.
And if you don't mind, I don't want Danny Jackson to get left out of this because Danny and Addison ended on him. But it was like a tag team. It was like they were subbing in and running plays in on offense back and forth. So Danny Jackson was amazing as well.
So as good as this one is, folks, just remember they play again. This time it's going to be in Hershey probably in another month. They'll have that one in the second half. But speaking of games coming up tomorrow night, if you like this one, don't miss tomorrow night. We have Trinity and Mechanicsburg coming your way. That's tomorrow evening, Thursday night, the 22nd. Go out, get your Christmas shopping done early. Get home by 7:30. Sit in and watch the game. Greg Mace will be back under the headsets for this one tomorrow night on ABC 27.3. After the new year then, all you have to do is say Steel High Harrisburg. That says it all in this area, no matter what the records are. Steel High Harrisburg, Tuesday, January 3rd, also at 7:30. And it's not just basketball this year, folks. Remember, we're also doing high school wrestling live, and our next match will be after the first of the year. That'll be on January 5th, a huge matchup. Central Dauphin and Cumberland Valley, two of the top teams in the Mid-Penn, in the district, and in the state for that matter. And we'll have that action for you. George Hartwick and I will be calling that for you at 7 o'clock on that night. So that's going to do it here from Hershey. For Todd McCall and Charlie Fortney, thanks for joining us, and for our Invicta Sports crew. And if you need to get in touch with anybody from Invicta, there's your contact information. You can log on and get a hold of them on the net, or you can call them at 717-577-6601. Guys, great job out of the truck tonight. Got all the action, all the replays. Had everything covered. So again, that's the final here from Cedar Cliff as Hershey comes in and steals one from the Colts in double overtime. What a classic. Hershey wins it 67-58. Have a good night, everybody.
AAU spring basketball with advanced hoops. 21 teams last year, featuring the top boys basketball players from all over the region. Advanced Hoops AAU features 10 to 11 player rosters, guarantees playing time, all man-to-man style play, and every player gets professional skill training. along with top quality AAU tournaments. Advanced Hoops has helped over 25 high school athletes get scholarships over the last 2 years. Amazing results.
Our topic today is ACL injuries. How often do you see ACL injuries in the athlete and the non-athlete?
ACL injuries are very common. They've increased in the number of ACLs per year because of the increased competitiveness of the sports and the increased volume of people in those sports.
Dr. Ackerman, why are the female athletes more prone to this injury than male athletes?
If you look at the normal knee here, you take away the kneecap and the tendon. In the center of the knee, right in here, you have the ACL. And the ACL stands for anterior cruciate ligament. It's cruciate because these two ligaments in the center cross, and the ACL is the main one that can tear out of the two. And it's right in the center of the knee. And when you have an injury, either a hyper extension injury, which your knee goes back like that, it can put pressure on that ligament and tear it. A rotational injury can put pressure on that ligament and tear it. So those are the things that can tear that. It's a central pivot ligament. So when you cut, pivot, turn, that ligament stabilizes the knee. Without that ligament, you can't cut, pivot. Females are more susceptible to this for many reasons. One is anatomically, they're born with a smaller ACL than males. Okay. So that's just an anatomic reason. The ACL is smaller, therefore it's at more risk of tearing. It has less structure to it. The notch right in here, this sort of horseshoe-shaped area, is much more narrow in a female than a male. And so what happens when you cut and turn, it's narrower and it pinches on the ACL and it can cause more tearing. Hormonal cycles in a female, with the menstrual cycles, when the hormone levels rise and fall, when they change like that in certain times of that cycle, the ACL can become weaker.
Malia Tate DeFreitas is the best 9th grade girls basketball player this area has seen in a long time. And her hopes and dreams were almost shattered when she went down last year with this injury. You've had a chance to repair this knee. Malia's father had some really good things to say in our interview, and even Malia herself. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Dr. Ackerman and his staff are wonderful. It was a pleasure working with them.
Dr. Ackerman's a good doctor. He made me stay focused, and he wanted me to get better, so that helped me, help my self-esteem, because I thought I was never ever going to be able to play basketball again.
We stay in continuous correspondence. The physical therapy staff, it was just a beautiful experience.
I'm very thankful because without Dr. Ackerman and his team and Dr. Cordes, I don't think I could do it.
I'd like to thank Dr. Ackerman for all of his support, for his medical knowledge, and giving Malia the gift of basketball again.
To catch the full interview with Dr. Ackerman on the growing number of ACL injuries, go to advancedhoops.com.